Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down some absolutely fascinating insights from a leading plastic surgeon and skin regeneration expert who is literally pulling back the curtain on the entire beauty industry. If you've ever found yourself standing in an aisle, staring at a wall of unbelievably expensive creams and wondering, does any of this actually work? Well, get ready. We are about to completely change how you view your daily routine.
Okay, let's dive into this because our expert asks a question right out of the gate that frankly shakes the whole foundation of modern beauty advice. What if everything you've been told about skin turnover is just a marketing trick? I mean, we hear this buzzword everywhere, right? But the actual medical reality behind it is gonna surprise you. And honestly, it might just save you a ton of money.
To really understand why, we need to completely deconstruct this incredibly popular buzzword. We're going to strip away the marketing fluff and look at what is actually happening biologically inside your body.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what the doctor means. When you read a beauty article warning you about what causes disrupted skin turnover, they list things like lack of sleep, stress, fatigue, smoking, and a poor diet. But wait a second. If you look at the exact same list of causes for disrupted gut health, or just general physical exhaustion, the list is absolutely identical. Lack of sleep, stress, smoking, bad diet, it's the exact same thing.
The truth, our expert points out, is that beauty marketing simply rebrands general health issues to sell you more skincare products. This whole concept of living well to maintain your body, it isn't some brand new skincare science breakthrough. In Japan, for example, this wisdom dates all the way back to the Edo period with texts like the Yojokun, which essentially just taught basic self-discipline. Don't stress, sleep well, eat right, don't drink too much. Today's marketing just took those basic health principles and gave them a fancy biological name to make it sound like a specific skin problem that requires a specific, very expensive product to fix.
Now, what about the actual speed of your skin turnover? We are always told it needs to be faster, right? But the reality is, as we age, the cycle naturally slows down. A baby's skin turns over in about 14 to 21 days. By the time you're a young adult, it's sitting at about 28 days. And when you reach 50 and older, that cycle naturally stretches out to 40 to 60 days. The beauty industry constantly frames this slowing down as some kind of abnormality that you have to correct. But biologically speaking, it's just a perfectly normal physiological change. And here is where things actually get a little dangerous. When you use aggressive products to force a 50-year-old skin to peel faster, trying to artificially mimic a 20-year-old's 28-day cycle, you aren't actually making the skin younger. You're just stripping away layers before they're ready, which makes your skin incredibly fragile and dangerously vulnerable. Sure, it might look smooth for a quick, fleeting moment, but biologically, you've just created a highly unstable, weak layer of skin. So, if we definitely shouldn't force our skin to peel, what on earth should we be doing? Let's transition over the actual biological makeup of our skin surface. We really need to understand what we are doing when we slather on these products.
Okay, we need to talk about the stratum corneum. This is the outermost layer of your skin. And here is the shocking truth that the doctor wants you to really internalize. This layer, the exact one we obsess over, the one we spend hundreds of dollars trying to perfect, is completely dead. It consists entirely of dead cells. Its one and only biological purpose is to protect the living, vulnerable tissue deep beneath it. The doctor uses this brilliant metaphor to make it instantly visual. Think of your outer skin like an onion. The stratum cornea is exactly like those dry, brown, papery layers on the outside of the onion. You wouldn't eat those outer layers, right? They're totally dead. But they're absolutely essential because they protect the juicy, living, water-filled onion underneath from drying out and dying.
Let's move to and see how this builds when we compare your skin to your hair. Your hair is dead, cutting it doesn't hurt. But if you wash it with harsh soap and skip the conditioner, it gets super dry, brittle, and damaged. Your skin surface is exactly the same way. It's dead, normal shedding doesn't hurt, but if you don't use a moisturizer, it becomes rough, flaky, and lets damage seep into the layers beneath. Just like hair conditioner preserves dead hair, your skincare merely preserves your dead skin cells so they can actually do their protective job.
Which leads to this massive truth bomb from our source expert. Skincare has no pharmacological effect. It cannot regenerate cells. It is simply protection. Let that sink in for just a second. Cosmetics are not medicine. They do not send magical biological signals to your living cells to regenerate. And honestly, that is incredibly liberating news. It means you don't need to chase miracles in a bottle.
Okay, so now that we know the biological reality, how the heck do we navigate the store aisles?
let's shift gears to a practical, foolproof guide for actually choosing products.
The doctor offers this remarkably simple two-step rule for buying products, and it focuses entirely on how the product feels rather than the price tag. Step 1. The immediate feel. If you put it on and it stings, tingles, or itches even a tiny bit, throw it out immediately. Step 2. Check in 30 to 60 minutes later. If your skin feels overly sticky, uncomfortably oily, or on the flip side, tight and dry, throw it out. The perfect product should literally just make your skin feel comfortable and normal, nothing more.
So, the crucial point is, do not get tricked by all that overly complex marketing jargon. The doctor specifically lists some major red flags to avoid. Buzzwords like exosomes, stem cell extracts, fetal cell culture liquids, or frankly any promise that a cream will biologically cure your wrinkles. These are just complicated terms designed to mask the fact that the product is, at the end of the day, just a basic moisturizer. They're relying on crazy complicated science to justify a massive price tag for something that biologically just cannot alter your living cells.
Right, so if creams and serums aren't the magic answer, then what is? This brings us to the final and most impactful part of the explainer. The true formula for looking young based on 20 solid years of clinical observation by our expert. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it completely flips the beauty industry's script. After 2 decades of clinical observation, the doctor concluded that the true anti-aging formula is a strict ratio, 70% inner care and only 30% outer care. Think about that. We spend 99% of our mental energy and our paychecks on that tiny 30% slice, completely ignoring the absolute powerhouse that actually dictates how youthful we look.
Let's quickly knock out that 30% outer care, because honestly, it is staggeringly minimalist. You want to know the doctor's own routine? Daily UV protection to prevent sun damage. A simple moisturizing spray. He personally just uses a quick spray that takes him literally 5 seconds. And when it's particularly dry out, a basic physical barrier like Vaseline. That's it. Remember, you are just keeping those dead onion skin cells hydrated. They absolutely do not need a complex 10-step routine to do their job.
But the real magic? That happens in the 70% inner care. This is where true beauty and anti-aging actually live. It requires eating a balanced diet, avoiding extreme weight fluctuations or crash diets, which absolutely wreak havoc on your body's systems, and above all else, rigorous physical exercise. The doctor notes that when he sees a 50-year-old who looks incredibly youthful and vibrant, the common denominator is almost never a luxury night cream, it's that they have a highly disciplined, serious exercise habit. Which brings us to the number 20. 20 is the number of days per month our doctor exercises. And we're not just talking a light stroll here. He aims to burn roughly 700 calories a session, working both inner and outer muscles and getting a really deep sweat. Now, you don't necessarily have to match that intense caloric burn right away, but the underlying point he makes is profound. Sweating, getting your heart rate up, and consistent movement, that is the ultimate skincare routine. So I want to leave you with this final provocative question based on the doctor's expert advice. The 70% rule is waiting for you. You know the truth about those dead outer cells now, and you know that real vitality comes from within. So instead of dropping cash on another expensive serum this month, what will your new 20-day exercise habit look like? How are you going to invest in the 70% that actually changes your body? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. Get out there and start moving, and we will see you next time.